Hello again.
Hi there, welcome. It is September 3rd today, and our entry is first, a hard winter training. Epictetus says, we must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared. This is a good reminder about not wanting instant gratification or instant results on stuff.
Can you read it again? What was it again?
We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared.
Yeah, that's like I don't get it. Like of course you have to plan or something.
I think sometimes we are so eager for results, and the idea of doing it the right way to get the results seems so long and so tedious that we want to rush through that part and just get to the result already. And so he's saying, don't try to skip and or rush over the hard winter training portion of it.
I mean, yeah, training is very important for whatever you're trying to eventually execute. Yeah, and if there is a moment in the future that you have to be prepared for a very short time of execution, then yeah, you have to be ready. Otherwise, you're not gonna execute, right? But being ready for I don't know, I don't know what he means by being ready, or
He's not saying ready. He's saying for which we haven't prepared, and he's saying a hard winter training. So, yeah, it's just about preparation.
so don't jump into anything you haven't prepared for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anything is what he's just saying, rush into things. So it's also unclear,
Yeah, because what is the what that means that could mean so many different things of what rushing into things mean, right?
yeah, so now I'm trying to zoom out and be like, well, where does this make sense? And where can I apply this? We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared. Just sounds to me like, don't be so eager about shit. Do the hard work, do it the right way, hold off on the result and the reward for now. You have to give it way more than you want to, than is comfortable, than you think is fair that you should have to give to something. You have to give all of that plus some, and that equals this hard winter training. You want to see what Ryan has to say about it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Or are you noodling on something?
No.
Okay. Before the advent of modern warfare, armies typically disbanded during the winter. War was not the total war as we understand it today, but more like a series of raids punctuated by the rare decisive battle. When Epictetus says we ought to go through hard winter training, he was disputing the notion that there is such a thing as part-time soldiering, or part-time anything for that matter. In order to achieve victory, one must dedicate every second and every resource into preparation and training. LeBron James doesn't take a summer break. He uses it to work on other aspects of his game. The U.S. military trains its soldiers day and night when not at war, in preparation for when they have to go to war. When they do go to war, they fight until it's over. The same is true for us. We can't do this life thing half-heartedly. There's no time off. There aren't even weekends. We are always preparing for what life might throw at us. And when it does, we're ready and don't stop until we've handled it. Yeah, I'm taking from this sort of like an assertiveness. There's, like, I definitely have a tendency to be more passive in life and just like, oh, la-di-da, I'll just take whatever life kind of hands me, which I think is like a good sort of go with the flow mentality. But in terms of like how I get up, how I wake up in the morning and attack the day, like that should not be a passive thing. That should be like an assertive thing of like, let me make the most of this time and like every activity of my day and action of my day is like part of this training. And then of course I have to go with the flow of what life actually delivers. But the way that I'm showing up to the thing that life delivers is in a much more like action-centered, assertive, attentive sort of way of being with the whole thing so that I can be quick to move in any direction.
Being prepared. The tough thing to know is like, what am I preparing for, right? Like, okay,
You
the
don't
soldiers
know.
are preparing for war, so they have guns and they shoot at targets and they have like this plan of what they're preparing for, right? Sure, there are some unknowns that during battlefield might come up that they were not training for, right? So now they have to pivot really quickly and adapt to it. But what am I training for?
Well, if you just take the analogy of like they're a soldier and you're a musician and a project manager. So like there could be some corollary there of like, yeah, like I wake up every day and I get after those two things. And those are the two things that I'm doing. And then I have a house and I have a relationship and I have this and I have this and I have this.
Right, but
I
don't know what I'm training for. I'm training, but I don't know what I'm training for. Like, there is no, like, what is the thing that's going to come that now it's going to require these skills that I've been training so hard for?
Well, if you're a project manager and a musician, there's like sort of an end of the path. That is a path. And there is sort of like an end of a path. Like a musician ends up somewhere and a project manager ends up somewhere. And so that somewhere you end up, well, I have to prepare to end up in those places. Now, whether or not I do actually end up there, that's up for life to serve to me. But that's why I want to be prepared here so that I can pivot and I can dance with life, because life is coming at me fast and quickly and without regard for how I'm feeling. So like that's just how life is. So I have to sort of step up and meet life at that level to say, okay, I'm with you here. I'll dance with you. I'll go this way or that way. And I'm just trying to direct my path to get to this end over here, because that's what's ahead of me on this path. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, I definitely feel that way about myself as a yoga teacher, where it's like, I don't know what that end looks like, but I know what the preparation looks like. I can feel what that preparation is. Like, I can feel like, okay, here's what I need to be learning to actually teach the thing. Okay, here are the skills I need to be developing for the business side of it. This skill and this skill and this skill. And okay, so now my preparation, I don't know what it's looking like at the end of it, but I know I'm on some path.
You have some job in front of you that you say, hey, I have this job to go do this.
Well, I invented the job, actually.
Sure.
So it's not like the job came to me and was like, do you want this? It's like, no, like I've been trying to figure out, like, so now I actually have to move a chess piece like here, and I have to like change myself in order to like go get to that chess piece. So it's like, that's requiring me to actually do this preparation. It's almost like you set the thing. Yeah, it's like I set the war for the soldiers. I'm like, okay, this is the war that we're going to go do, but obviously not a war in my situation. And then here are the steps that I need to take to prepare to get there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good advice for someone who doesn't know how to do that. Okay. Anything else for you?
That's it.
Sounds great.
Cool. Well, thank you for tuning in today, as always, and we will see you here tomorrow.